That night I sat around with the guys and we started chatting about what was what in the world. And I said to them, tell me about the project. These guys haven't done anything for us at all. There's nothing at all. I don't know what they're doing.
These were the locals you were talking to?
Yeah, the locals were saying this. And I thought to myself, great, my first research project, and I've stumbled on a scam.
Welcome again to Circuit Conversations. We're here with Rob Kilpatrick, the chairman of our board. He's one of these guys with the big, deep, booming voice, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, off and on.
Rob, we were talking just earlier about dependency in aid, and you've worked in countries all over the world. Tell us a story about when you saw aid going wrong.
Well, I've seen a number of projects where they would have been better off going up in a helicopter and throwing the money out of the window for what they actually achieved. But I can tell you about one experience that I had when I was doing some research for a master's degree. And I went to this village, remote village, and I knew that the organisation had invested something like $250,000 in getting to the stage that the project was at. And that night I sat around with the guys and we started chatting about what was what in the world. And I said to them, tell me about the project. These guys haven't done anything for us at all. There's nothing at all. I don't know what they're doing.
These were the locals you were talking to?
Yeah, the locals were saying this. And I thought to myself, great, my first research project, and I've stumbled on a scam. But the next day, I got talking to the women in the village, and they told me about the wonderful things that this organisation had done. They had water tanks outside their houses, so they had clean running water. They had sewage drains through the village. They had a childcare centre being built, and inquiring further, I discovered that actually it was the village themselves that were putting this together. They were getting some resources, but it was all the work was being done by the men and women themselves. And so the guys had thought that they weren't getting anything because they weren't being handed money. But the woman recognised the value of what this aid organisation had done. And I think that kind of dependency is all around the world, because we've had years and years of aid and development, a post-war kind of process that was actually designed to produce consumers. And
so, Rob,
produced a dependency mindset, actually.
What you're talking about is the expectation of the men that they were going to receive something from the organisation.
Oh, yeah.
But
the handout stuff.
They didn't realise that they were being motivated to do things, and they were actually doing something.
Yeah, they were. They thought that because they were doing it, that the organisation wasn't doing anything.
That's actually a pretty good story.
Yeah, it is.
It's not aid gone wrong, is it? That's actually
it was aid
positive
actually
story.
Going very, very right. And I think this organisation's been around for decades, and so they've learnt some very important lessons about how you actually get the community involved. And when you look back and it's now 25 years since the World Bank and perhaps the United Nations, although they've come lately, but the World Bank 25 years ago discovered that, in fact, unless you change people's hearts and minds, you can throw money at this stuff forever and nothing will ultimately change the moment you take the money source away. Whereas if you change what people think and how they feel about stuff, then you increase the motivation. And actually, I'd have to say, faith organisations are really good at doing that when they come at it the right way, because they know how to change people's hearts and minds. Yeah, and so getting away from that dependency model is actually very key. And that's one of the reasons why I'm involved with Circuit, because from the very get-go, Circuit said, we are not going to be a handout organisation. We are going to be a resourcing organisation that helps people achieve what they want to achieve. And I think that's been an excellent focus. Of course, there are times when, war and pestilence and climate change and stuff may produce a real kind of disastrous circumstance where aid is appropriate. But I think aid needs to, if you're ever going to provide it, needs to be really short term. And the key thing is resourcing people to change their mind about what they can do and who they are. They're not victims. They are participants in a world where they can make a difference. And that's a really good thing to engender in people.
And that's what makes our job so interesting and so beautiful.
Yeah. It's it's exciting when you see people thinking, we've done this, and you just sit back and think, yes, you have, actually. I mean, we've provided a bit of the fuel for the fire, but you guys are the ones fanning the flames, and it's great to see. It's exciting.
Rob, I asked you to tell me a bad story. You've told me nothing but good stories.
Well, there's plenty of bad stories.
But let's not focus on those.
No. I mean, if you really want to know that sort of stuff, read something like Toxic Charity, or the book about the United Nations interventions that starts with the title Emergency Sex and Other Disasters.
Rob, thanks for being with us again here today, and it's just always so good to see you.
My pleasure.